some interesting data coming from a big strategy shift at Apple. The tech giant nearly doubling iPhone exports from India between April and December. This is according to reporting from Bloomberg. Well, joining us now to discuss is Yahoo Finance's Dan Howley. A lot of people were wondering what was going to happen with diversification away from China.
That's right, Rochelle. This is basically Apple's long-term play where they're trying to ensure that the kind of mess that they saw as far as the supply chain problems in China doesn't repeat itself. We saw, obviously, at its main iPhone facilities, there were those protests as well as lockdowns that prevented Apple from being able to get as many iPhones out on the market as they wanted to. As a result, we still see some supply issues with the new iPhone 14. So what they're doing is, and they've been doing this for some time, it's just the kind of shutdown over the past year has really accelerated this effort. They're trying to move out into the likes of India as well as Vietnam. But in India in particular, they're building the new iPhones. Now, they usually leave the newest iPhone model to the workers in China through their manufacturing partners like Foxconn, mostly because they're the most reliable. They're the ones that know how to do this quickly and efficiently and ensure that they have those iPhones out on the street as fast as they can. They're getting that kind of expertise out of the workers in India now, though, and so they were able to get them up to speed on the iPhone 14 relatively quickly. And they'll be continuing to move more and more manufacturing outside of China as they kind of ensure that they don't have a single block for their kind of supply chain. So expect to hear more about this in the future. It's worth pointing out, though, that the vast majority of iPhones, as well as Apple products in general, are still made in China. So this isn't as though we're seeing a huge, shift right now. It's a shift for sure, but the vast majority are still built in China, and they will continue to be built in China for years to come.
And that's important context, obviously, not going away from China anytime soon. But I want to hone in on India because there are reports swirling that Apple could soon open its first flagship store in the nation. What are you hearing?
Yeah, there's been talk about this for some time, and it looks as though we're finally getting movement. There was the potential for them to be opening a store in Mumbai at one point, and then there were obviously a little bit of problem called COVID put the kibosh on that for a while, and so now they're going back to that, and they should be able to open up their own physical retail presence in the country in the next few months. And they have online retail sales. Tim Cook has said, though, that he doesn't want third-party retailers being really the main people that sell iPhones in the country or Apple products in general, just because it doesn't have that same kind of control over the brand when third-party retailers are selling it or third-party resellers. So they're going to be opening their first store in the country. It is also, though, important to note that iPhones are still incredibly expensive for the average person in India. So though they're opening a physical retail store, though you can buy them online, this isn't something that the average citizen in India or consumer in India is going to be able to go ahead and buy. It's a very pricey item, and so expect Android phones to still dominate in the country for some time. You could consider the iPhone almost a luxury item there.